John chapter 11, Jesus' power as the resurrection and the life. John chapter 11 is a powerful narrative that intertwines divine purpose, human emotion, and the unfolding plan of salvation. It begins with the illness of Lazarus, a man from Bethany, who was dearly loved by Jesus along with his sisters, Mary and Martha. When the sisters send word to Jesus about Lazarus' sickness, they do so with the confidence that Jesus' love for their brother would compel him to come and heal. Yet, Jesus' response is surprising. Rather than rushing to Lazarus' side, he deliberately delays, stating that the sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it. This statement sets the tone for the entire chapter, hinting that a greater purpose is at work beyond the immediate suffering. Despite the disciples' concern for Jesus' safety in Judea, where hostility toward him was escalating, he insists on returning, explaining that there is a divine timing and purpose for everything, symbolized by his reference to walking in the light. When he tells them that Lazarus is asleep, the disciples misunderstand, thinking Lazarus will recover naturally. Jesus then speaks plainly, "Lazarus is dead, and he is glad he was not there, so that the disciples might believe." This signals that what is about to occur will not merely comfort a grieving family, but will become a revelation of who Jesus truly is. Upon arriving in Bethany, Jesus finds that Lazarus has been in the tomb for 4 days, a period long enough to ensure that no one could doubt the finality of his death. Martha meets Jesus first, expressing both faith and disappointment, saying that her brother would not have died if Jesus had been there. Yet even in her grief, she holds on to hope, trusting that God will grant Jesus whatever he asks. Jesus assures her that Lazarus will rise again. Martha interprets this as a reference to the resurrection at the last day, a common Jewish belief. But Jesus makes a bold and transformative claim, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live." This statement shifts the understanding of resurrection from a future event to a present reality rooted in Jesus himself. Martha responds with a confession of faith, declaring Jesus to be the Christ, the Son of God. Mary soon joins them, also falling at Jesus' feet and expressing the same grief-filled sentiment as her sister. Her sorrow, along with that of those mourning with her, moves Jesus deeply. He is troubled in spirit and weeps, an intensely human moment that reveals his compassion and love. The shortest verse in the Bible, "The Jesus wept," speaks volumes about the heart of God toward human suffering. Even knowing he will raise Lazarus, Jesus fully enters into the pain of death, affirming that grief is not wrong, even in the presence of hope. Jesus then approaches the tomb, a stone-sealed cave, and commands that the stone be removed. Martha hesitates, worried about the odor after 4 days of decomposition, but Jesus reminds her to believe and witness the glory of God. He prays openly to the Father, not because he needs to be heard, but so that the crowd may believe that he is sent by God. Then, in a loud voice, Jesus calls, "Lazarus, come forth." The dead man comes out, still wrapped in grave clothes, and Jesus instructs the people to unbind him and let him go. This miraculous event confirms Jesus' authority over death and serves as a sign pointing to his identity as the giver of life. The aftermath of this miracle is significant. Many of the Jews who witnessed it believe in Jesus, but others report the event to the Pharisees. Alarmed by Jesus' growing influence, the religious leaders convene a council. They fear that if people continue to believe in him, the Romans will intervene and destroy the fragile balance of power in Jerusalem. Caiaphas, the high priest, unknowingly prophesies the purpose of Jesus' death, suggesting that it is better for one man to die for the people than for the whole nation to perish. Though his intentions are political, his words carry divine truth. Jesus will indeed die, not only for Israel, but for all the children of God scattered abroad. From that point, the plot to kill Jesus intensifies. He retreats from public ministry, knowing his time is near. The chapter ends with the tension of approaching Passover and the growing expectation that Jesus may be seized. John 11 thus stands at a turning point in the Gospel. It is a moment of both revelation and escalation. The raising of Lazarus not only reveals Jesus as the resurrection and the life, but it also triggers the final chain of events that will lead to his own death and resurrection. Through this account, readers are invited to confront the reality of death, the power of Christ, and the call to believe in the one who holds life itself.
Chapter 11. Now a certain man was sick, Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary who anointed the Lord with fragrant oil, and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore the sisters sent to him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom you love is sick. When Jesus heard that, he said, This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So when he heard that he was sick, he stayed 2 more days in the place where he was. Then after this he said to the disciples, Let us go to Judea again. The disciples said to him, Rabbi, lately the Jews sought to stone you, and you are going there again? Jesus answered, Are there not 12 hours in the day? If anyone walks in the day, he does not stumble, because he sees the light of this world. But if one walks in the night, he stumbles, because the light is not in him. These things he said, and after that he said to them, Our friend Lazarus sleeps, but I go that I may wake him up. Then his disciples said, Lord, if he sleeps, he will get well. However, Jesus spoke of his death, but they thought that he was speaking about taking rest in sleep. Then Jesus said to them plainly, Lazarus is dead, and I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, that you may believe. Nevertheless, let us go to him. Then Thomas, who is called the twin, said to his fellow disciples, Let us also go, that we may die with him. So when Jesus came, he found that he had already been in the tomb 4 days. Now Bethany was near Jerusalem, about 2 miles away, and many of the Jews had joined the women around Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as she heard that Jesus was coming, went and met him, but Mary was sitting in the house. Now Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you. Jesus said to her, Your brother will rise again. Martha said to him, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? She said to him, Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is to come into the world. And when she had said these things, she went her way, and secretly called Mary her sister, saying, The teacher is come, and is calling for you. As soon as she heard that, she arose quickly and came to him. Now Jesus had not yet come into the town, but was in the place where Martha met him. Then the Jews who were with her in the house, and comforting her, when they saw that Mary rose up quickly and went out, followed her, saying, She is going to the tomb to weep there. Then when Mary came where Jesus was, and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying to him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Therefore when Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her weeping, he groaned in the spirit, and was troubled. And he said, Where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, See how he loved him. And some of them said, Could not this man, who opened the eyes of the blind, also have kept this man from dying? Then Jesus, again groaning in himself, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone lay against it. Jesus said, Take away the stone. Martha, the sister of him who was dead, said to him, Lord, by this time there is a stench, for he has been dead 4 days. Jesus said to her, Did I not say to you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of God? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead man was lying. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me, and I know that you always hear me. But because of the people who are standing by, I said this, that they may believe that you sent me. Now when he had said these things, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth! And he who had died came out bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was wrapped with a cloth. Jesus said to them, Loose him and let him go. Then many of the Jews who had come to Mary and had seen the things Jesus did believed in him. But some of them went away to the Pharisees and told them the things Jesus did. Then the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered a council and said, "What shall we do? For this man works many signs. If we let him alone like this, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and take away both our place and nation." And one of them, Caiaphas, being high priest that year, said to them, "You know nothing at all, nor do you consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and not that the whole nation should perish." Now this he did not say on his own authority, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus would die for the nation, and not for that nation only, but also that he would gather together in one the children of God who were scattered abroad. Then from that day on they plotted to put him to death. Therefore Jesus no longer walked openly among the Jews, but went from there into the country near the wilderness to a city called Ephraim, and there remained with his disciples. And the Passover of the Jews was near, and many went from the country up to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. Then they sought Jesus, and spoke among themselves as they stood in the temple, "What do you think, that he will not come to the feast?" Now both the chief priests and the Pharisees had given a command that if anyone knew where he was, he should report it, that they might seize him.